Welcome everybody to Meet with Cheese Metaverse interviews. I'm your host, LeDrop WithCheese, coming to you always from the Metaverse. And today I have an amazing guest for you. I met this gentleman down at Quantum Miami earlier this year in January. We got to talk about a lot of philosophical things related to Web3. Let me introduce to you 4Love, otherwise known as 4K3. He's a 3D artist and animator. He creates music. He's big into Web3 gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, 4Love. Thank you so much.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. It was the last time I saw you was, I believe it was about 2 a.m. at a bar in Miami. After this event we were at all day. So it's great to reconnect, man.
Yes, great to see you again.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up to where you are today in this Web3.
So I've always liked tech. If I had any extra money, even as a kid, I would definitely buy any tech I could. I got really into recording music and recording studios, and then that led me to beat making. And after that, then I went to school for audio engineering, and my dream was really to work all of those consoles with all of those buttons and then understand how it worked. And then from there, I started really getting into crypto eventually, and that has led me to me wanting to become a builder in the metaverse. And so I started learning Blender 3D and how to do animations, and then that has led me to try to learn how to code, which is a little bit harder, but that's basically where I'm at now, because it's definitely necessary. You can't just make the characters and not be able to deploy them in the game. So you're gonna want to learn to code eventually.
Yes, all roads lead to code, right?
Yes, all roads lead to code, and it helps you understand the blockchain so much better. So it needed to be done.
Yeah, man. That's great that you're here, and you are a very intellectual person, and I enjoyed our conversations that day that we got to hang out in Miami. But lately, this past weekend, you went on a trip, huh, to the other side. Well, tell us a little bit about how that went.
Man, it was pretty crazy. To be honest, I didn't know if I was gonna get to go. I had my bags packed, I had my ticket, and it wouldn't let me. I kept getting the internal error. Anyone that got the internal error knows how horrifying that was. And you could see everybody's avatars. I was watching it on YouTube because I couldn't connect yet. And I just kept getting this internal error, and I was going crazy. Eventually it connected, and it was awesome. It was a cool experience. For me, I couldn't really enjoy the game because of the lag. I also wanted to record it on OBS. I'm just getting started with recording content and stuff like that. So I think it was a little too much for my computer. And so I couldn't really enjoy the game as much as other people probably did. But I was able to follow along. I didn't get disconnected the whole time, which was great. And it was really, really a great experience regardless. And what they have accomplished on the browser is actually super impressive, because it's really not easy to be able to get that many people into a game on a browser. Different PCs, different computers. Some people have Mac. It's not just a console. Like, it's not just like everyone has PlayStation. And it's not a server. So usually you would go by regions and have a certain amount of people per server. That's not what Yuga's doing. They just put, I think, about 7,500 people all into this super cool experience.
Sweet, man. Yeah, that sounds like it was a good time. It was gamified too, right? Like there were teams in a competition style format.
Yeah, I was on Crimson team. It was the pink team. Shout out to Bryson. We tried our best. We were very close, but I think the blue team, I think Glacian, I think it's called Glacian. The Glacian team won. Apparently they're getting helmets, so they got some wearables for it. So good for them. Congratulations. Super happy for you.
What's funny is my last interview on this show was with Dean Harrington, who you also probably, right?
Yes,
and
yes.
He was on the winning team for the other side. So Dean is getting a helmet.
That's right. Good for him.
Yeah, he was super stoked about it, because we're talking about doing like an NFT show as well, where we're going to just talk about, like, we've been collecting for over 2 years and we have thousands across all these blockchains. And, you know, we still avidly collect. We both like aped into this 3D avatar for the sandbox. It's
Oh,
called
nice.
Interstellar Realty Bridge to Mars. And their 3D
Quiz.
avatars that they have are super badass. Like so much mobility and different moves that you can have, and they look really cool.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
And
have
you
to
spent
check them out.
time in Sandbox, right?
I love Sandbox. Yes, actually, Sandbox has been the game where no matter what, I play it and I earn. And people love to, you know, talk down on play to earn, and you know, when it's the bear market, everyone thinks it's cool to, the trend is to trash play to earn. But the truth is, I play Sandbox and I earn. It's really that simple. And I mean, I love Sandbox. I you know, it's more like a family game. So it, you know, if you like Mario Kart, or if you liked Sonic, or if you liked Mario Party or something, so it's more of a family game experience. I go in there as an artist. I go in there and I look around the world, and I just appreciate just what people build. So even just art wise, I enjoy Sandbox. I understand it's not like the coolest game in the world, but the fact that I can earn and then stake and then, you know, build on my land and things like that. I mean, Sandbox is a very robust ecosystem. I love Sandbox.
Yeah, it is super cool. Are you ever check out Snoop Dogg's place in Sandbox?
Yeah, I have a Snoop Dogg avatar actually. I have a zombie.
That's so dope, man. Yes, Snoop Dogg's done so much for this industry. Like he's everywhere in the metaverse, and he's been in it for over 2 years now, which is crazy to think, you know. I think his first drop was Snoop Doge coins on crypto.com. It was part of his NFT drop that he did, and he's done stuff with Death Row Records, but yeah, he's the man for this industry. So what other games do you like in this, you know, play to earn style format, or what kind of Web3 games are you playing?
Well, what's very interesting about Web3 is that you never really know, because half of these games haven't been built yet. So, I mean, for example, look at the Otherside Trip. It's really just a testing environment. They're really just gauging to see if they can even withhold 7,000 people in their server, right? So you can't judge Sandbox or any of these games based on what they've built 1 year, 2 years in. So to answer your question, I like Citus Heroes. Citus Heroes has 3 games right now, or actually they're building the third, which is a first-person shooter. They have an arena battler, and then they have the mobile game. But what I like about Citus Heroes is that they don't stop. I mean, they have a huge team. If you just look at their website, I mean, their UI UX is extremely impressive. It has been impressive for over a year. And then they have the module system. So what you do is even though the game is not the most fun game in the world, you understand that they're only 1 year in at the time, right? So you get these resources, and then you can get the resources and put them into modules to construct the modules. So for example, they have a banking module which allows you to to withdraw currency into the game, or it allows you to swap from token to token. And every time that those transactions happen, it generates fees. So if you actually put your resources into the bank module to build it, then, because when you play, let's say you win limestone, or you win cement, or you win steel, so you would deposit the steel that you won to build this bank, and then every fee that the bank gets, you will get a royalty lifetime. So it's a super, super cool thing. They also do the same thing for marketplaces, and they're staking. So everything is built by modules, and it's built by people that play or investors. So I'm really into Citus Heroes because yeah, I've just seen them events and building and building and building. I've also liked Sandbox, like I said. I also love Yuga. I have 2 Otherside deeds. I actually bought another deed right before the trip, like that, like 30 minutes before I bought my second other deed. And now we're having the Legends of Mara, so I'm super excited for that, and we'll see what that brings. What else I have? There's a couple. I really like Biopills. They're still building, so we'll see what happens with that. I also like Cypher. I mean I'm in a lot, just like you, just like you and Dean. I'm in a couple of them. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, that's some good alpha right there for people listening out there. And one of the things, it sounds like gaming is a passion of yours. Like I'm old school. I grew up playing Nintendo and Super Nintendo and all that kind of stuff. But um, you want to use your coding skills to kind of get into the gaming industry, right?
Yeah, I found out about coding the hard way when I started doing a contest for Decentraland. So I built this super cool fountain, super cool textures. And then when I went to deploy it, the textures wouldn't work. I didn't know how to, run the terminal and the repository. And I was just extremely disappointed at that point. So yeah, definitely have to learn how to code so that I could at least deploy the um, the games. But once you start to code, that's like, it's almost like taking the veil out of your eyes, because at that point you start seeing how the internet works, what happens when you send a picture to a friend, an emoji or whatever. And then from then on, you can really build anything. So yeah, I mean, we're getting to the, I'm getting to the point where hopefully soon I'll start building stuff and even messing with blockchain stuff.
Awesome, man. Yeah, keep going, man. You're deciphering the internet, one line of code at a time, and that's super cool, man. So if there's any gaming companies out there watching this, feel free to hit up For Love. He's a bright talent. Trust me, you want this guy on your team. But yeah, and then not only are you into gaming, but you kind of are like me and Dean in the collecting side, but like you also kind of understand different protocols and cryptocurrencies and staking. So you recently were part of the Arbitrum airdrop, right?
Yeah, I started farming airdrops towards the end of October, probably around the time that the Aptos, a little bit after the Aptos airdrop. And I started to see an opportunity, and it actually kind of sucks because I have to take away time from my creative artistic endeavors to try to chase this like unicorn that may or may not happen at the time. So it's kind of a leap of faith of, and it's also takes money. You're going to have to, do transactions and pay for gas and things like that. So also put aside things that you want to buy as far as NFTs or tokens or whatever. And I started just messing around with different blockchains. One of them was Arbitrum. Another one, I did the quests for Optimism. Where right now I'm working on layer 0. I've been working on all of these since October, and we'll see what happens with the rest of them. ZK Sync is another one. Starknet is another one. And even done small ones like Dito Finance and Pontum and things like that. So I'm hoping that I get some liquidity my way, because it's gonna go towards NFT games, and then whatever I need to build on my own stuff.
Yes, it's just one circulating ecosystem of cryptocurrencies to get what you need to get done and finance your building. And yeah, this is a great time to be involved. I feel like when the market is up, that's when all the tourists come in, scammers come out. But right now, it's guys like me and you we see decentralization as a value system of who you are, is like the underlying principle for this whole thing. So, it's awesome that we met. As far as collecting goes, like NFTs, and do you have any alpha on like stuff that isn't out yet that you're like heard some things like, oh, this game's going to be fire, or what do you got for us?
I would actually say the opposite, with all due respect, because um, most Web3 games are extremely risky. So, and speaking on what you just said about the bear market, the bear market is awesome. The bear market is your biggest gift, because all of these things that I'm talking about, learning how to 3D model, learning how to, I don't know if you're into producing music or learning anything coding wise, all of these things are possible because of the bear market, because it's very quiet. Nothing is going on. During the bull market, it's every single day, every single hour, things are like mooning and pumping. So you use the bear market to not only learn new skills, but also accumulate things that are safe. So I don't buy Web3 games like the ones that I told you that I'm into, is probably because I bought them during the bull market. When I wanted to just get my feet wet, I bought one alien, or I bought one thing, or whatever. And so like I have other games, but as of May of last year, as a disciplined investor, I told myself, you're only going to buy three things, and I'm only going to focus on three things. And that's going to be sandbox land, that's going to be alluvium land, and that's going to be Otherside deeds. Because as a builder, I can build experiences on those lands. So not only can I build my own brand or even rent to other brands on my lands, I can also build for other owners and stuff like that. So that's really like my focus, is just things that aren't going to go away, aren't going to die, have enough runway, hopefully, because that's a big problem. A lot of these games, I think we've done very, very well so far. Well, we don't know if it was the bottom. It probably was the bottom, but it may not have been the bottom, and we don't know what's going to happen until the next halving. So there is a chance that we may still get a bunch of games that will run out of money to pay their developers and to continue developing. There is a chance that some of our favorite games may end up winding down or merging together. I'm actually really, really bullish on the like. I think there will be a season where there will be a season of mergers, where games that have to wind down because they don't have any funds to pay their artists and developers and things like that, that will actually join together and then bring in whatever they were working on and try to make a game of whatever is left. And I think some really cool things could come out of that. But yeah, for me, just those top three. I know Alluvium's not going away. I know Sandbox is not going away, and I know Otherside's not going away.
Yes, I agree with you. And I didn't know that part of your title is virtual world real estate mogul. You know, it's a really cool title to have.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Like I look at not only just the virtual worlds, but also the blockchains, like testing the blockchains. It's like Lewis and Clark.
Yes, early discoverers of the brand new world that's
Yes,
happening
yes.
to us. That's a great analogy. What kind of conferences you going to later this year?
I'm gonna be volunteering at NFT Miami, so I'll be there all weekend. Other than that, I'm just hanging out. But pretty much just want to go and help and give whatever I can over to the people here.
And when is that conference?
I think it's this weekend. I do have to go to orientation on Thursday, so shout out
Oh,
to him.
right.
I'm sorry.
It's NFT week, Miami. Is that
Yeah,
the
NFT week, exactly. I've never
Yeah,
been, actually. It's gonna be my first NFT week.
I hear it's going to be super cool. A lot of fun. A lot of great people I know will be there in attendance as well. Um, what was I going to say about this? There's another conference coming up in Miami. Bitcoin Miami is going to be in May. Are you going to be around for that, or you plan on attending some events?
Probably it depends on whatever hits my inbox, but I don't really hold too much Bitcoin, so I don't know if they'll let me in.
Well, the thing about Bitcoin Miami is that it's kind of evolved into like Web3 week, where there's going to be probably 100 or 200 satellite events happening during the 3 or 4 days of Bitcoin Miami, but they're all like blockchain events,
Yeah,
So,
actually, last year I was at a hacker house that was super cool during Bitcoin Miami. Definitely. I hope they have it again.
yeah. Speaking of hackers, I'm going to CypherCon in Milwaukee, Wisconsin later this week. On Thursday and Friday, it's called CypherCon, and it's like Wisconsin's largest hacker conference. So it's kind of a cool premise for it. But I would much rather be at NFT Week in Miami with you, man. Let me tell you, it's still snowing up here.
Oh, nice. Well, I don't know. Maybe we could switch for a day. If you got snow over there, I'll rent a snowboard. It'll be worth it.
Yes, not like 9 months out of year where it's just miserably cold up here. But I digress. Yeah. So what else? What other kind of things have you been into lately when it comes to like Web3? What have you been following?
Well, I just really also follow the markets. I think that the time that we're navigating right now is especially if you're living in the United States. I mean, we all like, yeah, NFTs and you know, these aliens or apes or whatever, right? But the truth is that the things that are going on in the world right now are a little nuts. And the fact that we don't know if we're going to have hyperinflation and in a couple of months we may be paying double for our groceries, or if the United States officially just lost the title as superpower and world reserve currency. If I don't know, look at regulation, if staking is allowed or not in the next month or not, if you know, like all of these things are going to affect our digital worlds and everything that we do on a daily basis. I mean, we talked about airdrops and things like that. Um, and the innovation, I mean, is the innovation going to leave the United States? If you want to work in crypto, are you going to need to leave the United States? So yeah, a lot of Bloomberg, a lot of YouTube of you know, my favorite people that I watch and stay informed, like your show, things like that. You got to stay connected. You got to know. You got to start planning out your next move, because it's a game of chess. And I mean, and on top of that, you also have you know, you have to be careful with clicking links, and you have to be careful with who DMs you and Discord, and so it's just a lot to navigate. If you're into Web3, I mean, it's, you got to be prepared, you know.
Yes, trust no one in Web3 online, especially. But I love our community. You know, I think we're the best community I've ever been part of, and that's including the military, great jobs I've had. You know, like we just have that same ethos and drive, which is amazing. But yes, I'm also very concerned with the world right now, and being a veteran of the United States military, you know, I have a feeling that the opportunity to lead in this new industry called blockchain technology has already gone out the window. You know, we're still putting, the very first report ever just had crypto, a 35-page chapter about cryptocurrency, and about 15% of that report was FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And we're not going to be able to like be in charge of what the best way to incorporate cryptocurrency. Instead, we're treating it like an enemy of the state, you know. And I get it, we have been a centralized bank powerful country for a long time, but if we can't get our minds around what's happening in front of our face every day and push it away, it's just going to be a decentralized bank. You know, the globe is going to decentralize US banks here shortly, is the way I see it going.
Yeah, but what would happen if they say that holding crypto is illegal? Obviously, they can't stop it. They can't, you know, they don't know if you're holding crypto or not. But if it becomes illegal in the United States, it's going to be a problem. You're not, you know, even if you still do it, um, it's not going to be, it's not going to, you still don't, you don't have the freedom to be able to explore, like we talked about, all of these things, and be able to innovate and be able to build and be able to use these protocols. I mean, even now there are some websites that you can't use if you're using an IP from the United States. So you may be missing out on different things.
Yeah, definitely, man. And we just need to come together. It's going to take all of us for this to work. And we've been failing as a world. You know, there's a billion people without clean drinking water. You know, we have the resources. Now we have the technology too. And we should just leverage that globally for a better world. And that's kind of why I'm in this space, is to make the world better for all of us, you know, leveraging this technology. And I feel like that's you too, man.
Yeah, definitely. That's actually where I got my name from. So the 4K3 is pronounced for love. Anything that I do creative wise is basically to spread positivity, to spread, you know, love, to love yourselves, love each other, and love our planet. So anything that I can do in this space, that I can build, will be eventually to help people.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. And that's why the premise of this show is people and projects you need to know about. So I wanted people to know about you and your just drive for, you know, leveraging blockchain to make it better for all of us, man. I appreciate you. But how can we follow you? How can we support you?
So I go by 4K3 Music on all socials, and I'm just starting my 4K3 Studios which is really going to be the main thing where I do all my content, gameplay, where you'll see me doing tutorials for how to build things like characters or maps or weapons or anything like that, animation, and also music production. I may even do like DJ sets and stuff like that. So 4K3 music or 4K3 studios.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it. It's always great chopping it up with you, and I can't wait to see you next month in Miami.
All right. Thank you again. Can't wait to see you too. Thanks for having me.